Welcome into our 49ers Report post-game show right here on the 49ers Report. I'm your host, Chase Sr. San Francisco able to come through with a really clutch and much-needed dominant victory over the Los Angeles Rams by the final score of 31-14. And we talked about this going into this week, that San Francisco needed a dominant victory and just needed a win in general to give themselves some confidence going into the bye week, but also to prove to everybody out there that this team can be taken seriously as one of the best teams in the NFC. And I thought today they were able to do that at Levi Stadium South right outside of Los Angeles by completing a beatdown, and I mean a beatdown, of the Los Angeles Rams by a final score of 31-14. Stay tuned for our post-game show. I'll give you my news, rumors, analysis, and takeaways, but also start taking your calls on call-in. And a lot of you watching right now probably like, Chase, why are you wearing this hard hat? First of all, wearing the hard hat because the Niners needed to put in that work. This is a minor hat, Niners country. Let's mine. And throughout our watch party, everybody who sent us a $20 super chat, we showed you love by putting on a sticker with your initials on this helmet. And the 49ers had to put in that work today. They were able to do that, and we reached a super chat threshold, so that's why I'm putting on this helmet. So let's just get to the overall takeaways from this football game, because really it was impressive from San Francisco. And the big one is that Kyle Shanahan continues to own Sean McVay. He has now won 8 consecutive regular season games against his former protege. And San Francisco in the regular season continues to just beat in the heads of the Los Angeles Rams. Like, you could tell late in this game that Los Angeles became unraveled. They had become unhinged, and they couldn't deal with the emotional flow of this football game and deal with the fact that San Francisco continues to own this football team. And Trace, I want you to hand me that baby bottle, because Kyle Shanahan continues to be the daddy of Sean McVay. And those right there are just facts. And Jimmy Garoppolo is, of course, included in that conversation, because Jimmy G now 8-0 against the Los Angeles Rams in the regular season. Before we continue to progress in our post-game show, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We went live for this watch party. It was a blast all throughout the day, but videos every single day coming your way right here on the San Francisco 49ers Report. So make sure you lock us in for interactive, informative news, rumors, live shows, watch parties, and analysis by hitting that subscribe button. So I do want to talk about this, because a lot of people did not like the Christian McCaffrey trade. Folks, you saw today why the 49ers mortgaged that draft capital for Christian McCaffrey. Because this guy is a game changer. This guy is a baller. This guy is an elite playmaker. This guy is a difference maker at the end of the day. For those of you who hated the trade and you were against it, you can see in the evaluation process why San Francisco made this deal. Because McCaffrey was the best player on the field today between the San Francisco 49ers and the Los Angeles Rams. And honestly, he made you forget that Deebo Samuel and Juwan Jennings were out through the air. He was awesome. On the ground game, he was fantastic. And Christian McCaffrey even threw for a touchdown today. You're thinking, okay, did the 49ers trade for a quarterback at the NFL trade deadline? No, they just brought in Christian McCaffrey, who threw a 34-yard touchdown pass to Brandon Aiyuk, who, let me say this, is the most underrated and underutilized wide receiver in the NFL. And he also had 18 carries for 94 yards and 8 catches for 55 yards. I said this at the time when the Niners made this trade. Don't look at Christian McCaffrey as a running back. Look at this guy as a weapon. And you saw today that number 23 is a weapon on this football team. Say it with me, because this is a monster win for the San Francisco 49ers. San Francisco! What a huge win to save the season for the Niners. And once again, they have that get-right game against the Los Angeles Rams. More takeaways from this Niners dominant win. Jimmy Garoppolo was good today. And if the Niners get this version of Jimmy Garoppolo for the rest of the regular season, this is a dangerous football team. Yes, the Philadelphia Eagles are 7-0. They just laid the wood today in their game. Like, they're still perfect on the regular season after a dominant win against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Outside of that, the NFC is wide open. The Seattle Seahawks beat the New York Giants today. The NFC West is closely tied right now, but there's no doubt, in my opinion, that San Francisco is the best team in this division, and they're one of the best teams in the NFC, and arguably have the most stacked and well-rounded roster in the NFC. So they just have to get right and start stacking some wins for this team to be absolutely dangerous. As far as this Niners team as a whole, they needed to show up offensively, and they did with 31 points today in a much-needed big game spot. But this defense needed to rebound, and they did. They gave up 14 first-half points. After the 3-and-out early in this football game, the Rams started to get it humming on the offensive side of the football. But then the Niners come back and storm back and just dominated from that point on. And for those of you who are criticizing Kyle Shanahan, like, you can see what he has at his disposal when he has solid quarterback play, and obviously we know about the weapons. But to not have Jawan Jennings or Deebo Samuel in this football game, San Francisco able to show and send a message to the rest of the NFC that this team should be taken seriously if they get solid quarterback play and when they're clicking on all cylinders. About to take your calls live on Callin, so stay tuned for that if you're watching on YouTube, or if you're tuned in on Callin, hop into that caller queue. First, though, grade the Niners offense today. A, B, C, D, or F. Honestly, it has to be an A in my book because San Francisco was really, really good. And for the first time this year, outside of that Carolina game, they were able to put forward an all-around offensive performance. Going to start taking your calls here on Callin. We're going to start off with one of the OGs here on the San Francisco 49ers Report. Evan, you're our first caller here on Callin. Make sure you unmute yourself, and what do you got for me, brother?
Let's go, man. To me, Fred Warner was electric out there. And that was a great win. But to me, I still think that with the trade deadline coming up, the 49ers should look into getting rid of Zach Wilson and maybe get some help for Nick Bosa so you don't have to be on the field all the time to help them stop the run or pass. Like, maybe trade for Justin Houston or something, like, all the time.
Yeah, and look, like, I understand what you're saying about Justin Houston, right? But, like, he's playing well for the Baltimore Ravens, and that's a team that is of that championship pedigree and has an opportunity to possibly compete for a Super Bowl. When you look at this team right now, Evan, I do think that they are very well-rounded. They have premier players at multiple spots. I don't think they really need to make a trade outside of maybe getting some depth at defensive tackle or cornerback. This is a team that is set up very nicely. And now that they have some good mojo going into the bye week, that bodes well for San Francisco because now they have a couple of weeks to get healthy, get Deebo Samuel back, hopefully Eric Armstead, who really helps out greatly against that ground game. And San Francisco, like they were last year when they started 3-5, now they're 4-4 in a little bit of a better spot. They are in a very good position from here on out until the end of the regular season to start making a run. Drew, going to make you the next caller here on the 49ers Report. What's up, Drew Lucero, my guy?
Same old sorry-ass Rams. That's all I got to say.
Brother. Facts, brother. And hold on, before you continue, man, if everybody's watching on YouTube, beat L.A. Beat L.A. What do you got, Drew?
Hey, there was a solid performance in the second half. That's all I got to say. Defense showed out in the second half. They kind of looked defeated in the first quarter. Like, man, these guys are just running all over us. You can see them on the sideline. They looked a little gassed, maybe unmotivated. And then maybe D'Amico decided to chew their ass a little bit. And they definitely turned it up in the second half. Bosa with the sacks. Dude's a beast. Christian McCaffrey, absolute game changer. The first 5 minutes that we had him, I was a little upset about the draft picks. Then and you helped me realize this. Niners are all in. They decided they're going to put all the chips in, and that's what I've been wanting for the last 20 years. I want them to put all the chips in and leave it all out in the field and hopefully this year we can do it. Start some momentum, get rolling. Thanks, Chase. Appreciate you, buddy.
Hey, Drew, thanks for tuning into our show every single week here on Callin and supporting everything that we do. What you talked about there is Christian McCaffrey. And look, I understand the resentment of having to trade for a running back, especially giving up the draft capital that the Niners had to surrender for Christian McCaffrey. But, like, again, I've always said this. Look at Christian McCaffrey less as a running back and more as a weapon. He threw that touchdown pass. He was available in the slot, out of the backfield as a wide receiver. He runs the football well and has this patience to him. And the explosion, like we saw in a couple of those plays where he starts middle, then he darts out to the left or right. And that's just a game changer to be able to move the chains. And not many running backs in the National Football League on that touchdown reception to Christian McCaffrey are going to be able to climb the ladder, jump up, and seamlessly catch that football with ease like Christian McCaffrey. And that's what he did today. On YouTube, a $10 super chat coming in from Callie. Thank you so much for your support, and I will give you a little swig of this Patron bottle here. Thank you, Callie. Nicely played, Niner gang. Thank you for what you do, Chase. Thank you, Callie, for supporting the show and allowing us to build new studios and grow our staff here on the Niners Report. Edison, next caller here on the show. What's good, Edison? What's up, man?
Hey, yeah, everything would look, decent with Spence and Banks. Banks totally, he made it clear that he wants that position. And McCaffrey kind of showed me that he's like a Deebo number 2. And he showed a lot. He showed a lot of effort. He showed why he was a first-round pick for a reason. Because sometimes teams kind of misuse their first-round picks and don't take their great momentum that they have. But with 49ers, they create great players, even though they're like 5th-round picks, 6th-round picks. Even if they're first-round picks, they make a lot. They show a lot of effort with if you're in the 49ers team. So, today was a big W. Everything is just about, defenses. Defenses wins games as well. So, yeah, that's the only thing I'm going to say.
Edison Gonzalez, bringing the knowledge, bringing the analysis and the heat as always. And Edison, I appreciate the call. And with this Niners team, like you said it perfectly, Edison, this was a much-needed win. If you go into the bye week at 3-5, not only is that 3 consecutive losses for San Francisco, not only do you have that sour taste, but you're like, damn, for the second year in a row, we have to come out of a 3-5 hole, and the percentages of having to do that back-to-back consecutive seasons, very, very slim. And for the Niners, I thought they put together a really complete game. Like, even the special teams unit, which has been trash up to this point, was good today. Even the offense, which has been stagnant, mediocre, lackluster, inconsistent, was great today. And the defense, most importantly, which in consecutive weeks against the Falcons and Chiefs was bad, they didn't give up any points in the second half. They really were able to hold strong in the second half, which I think is a big growth moment for San Francisco. We're going to go to Trace next here on the show. What's up, Trace? Trace, make sure you unmute yourself. If not, we'll go to another caller. Michael, going to make you the next caller here on the show. What's up, Michael?
Yeah, what's going on? I really liked this game today. It was good running by McCaffrey, legendary. I like the fact that he broke a record, I believe, where he threw and caught a TD. Is that correct?
Sorry, what'd you say lastly there, Michael?
Oh, I like the fact that McCaffrey, they said he did something that no 49ers ever done, where he passed and caught a TD, correct? And also, ain't this the 9th time we beat the Lambs in regular season?
Yeah, so Funky Nitro, I was having trouble hearing you at the end, but you make a good point, right? Funky Nitro, my guy. Christian McCaffrey threw for a touchdown, he caught a touchdown, and he ran for a touchdown. And that's the overall impact that this guy is able to have on the offensive side of the football. It was profound today, and the complexion and the look of this Niners offense completely changed. And for Christian McCaffrey, who got traded here to the Niners prior to last week's game against KC, to have this firm of a grasp of the offense really is a credit to what he's been able to do. I'm looking here on YouTube to Aaron May Chawashing. He said, chat is whack, I'm out, peace. Cool. We have 66,000 subscribers, so if you don't like watching the show, there are a lot of other people who do. All right, let's keep it moving. David Corona. David Corona, what's up, man? Good to hear from you again.
What's up, man?
What's
How
good,
you
brother?
Oh, man.
Hey, you're
Oh,
tuned in from Los Angeles, bro, so this feels extra good for you, right?
I live in Corona.
Okay, right outside of LA, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My family was calling me at halftime. They said, "Oh, you guys gonna lose this. You gonna lose." I said, "It's not over to the 2-0 in the fourth quarter."
Exactly.
So nobody, no, too many. My family members didn't want to bet this game. So I told them, "You guys wussy."
I love it.
Yeah. So I won like $70 today.
My man. That's a good day in the bank,
I
man.
was gonna ask you, how many sacks does Drake Jackson have?
How many sacks does he have this year? Let me get to that, David, and then we'll start getting to some other callers here. I didn't see a lot from Drake Jackson today, but it's okay because Nick Bosa was back and healthy. His sack numbers up to this point. Let me take a look here. He has 3, which going into this week led all rookies in the NFL over guys like Aiden Hutchinson, who was drafted as the premier pass rusher in this draft, in my opinion, out of Michigan. So, pretty solid for him. Treasure, what up, Treasure Kisses? Good to hear from you again. What's good, Treasure? Treasure, you there?
Hello, Chase.
Hello, Treasure. What's poppin', bro?
How you been?
I'm great, man. Good to hear from you again. My day is better now that you're joining our show.
So I just wanted to come in. I haven't been on call-in a while, but I am very excited about this game that we won. Now, the only thing that I would like us to see from us is us to get back on track with Christian McCaffrey's help. And I am so delighted that he's here.
No doubt. I mean, how can anybody not be delighted that Christian McCaffrey is here? A weapon like that. Think about this. A weapon like that made you forget that Deebo Samuel signed that huge contract extension and that he was even out of this football game. Like, McCaffrey gave you the impact today of what Deebo Samuel gave this team last year, when I thought in the latter portion of the season, he helped carry this team. And then you combine the fact that if Deebo comes back off that hamstring injury after the bye week against the Rams, and you combine him with Christian McCaffrey, like, this Niners offense, even though Jimmy Garoppolo is a little bit spotty, becomes even more dangerous. AU, what do you got for me here on our post-game show on the Niners Report?
Hey, Chase, how you doing, man?
I'm doing awesome, man. I hope you're doing well as well.
I am. Yeah, this was really a must-win today. I mean, not just for playoff hopes and all that stuff. I mean, I think just as after a shellacking like last week, to come out, and there was a time in the third quarter where I was like, they just scored. They sacked Stafford on third down, and I'm like, you come back and you score 7 and shove it down their throat, and they did.
Yeah.
And I was like, we're gonna win this game, because I was like, that's the heart I haven't seen from this team the whole year so far. And just looking ahead after this bye, and I got a question for you here. The thing that I think that I see that the Niners are lacking, if I put it in one word, it would be they're inconsistent.
Yep.
How do you fix that? That's my question. Have a good day.
Appreciate it, AU. And, dude, you continue to just do wonders for our channel on YouTube as well as Colin. How do you fix the inconsistency? That is the overwhelming question from AU. Jimmy Garoppolo has to be better. Jimmy Garoppolo has to be more consistent himself. I have really no problems with how Kyle Shanahan calls this offense. I've looked back at the All-22. I've seen that Kyle Shanahan has guys running free, running open. And if you were to have an elite quarterback within this offense, I think this offense would be unstoppable because the design through the pass game is very, very difficult to defend. But then you combine that against the ground game, which is even more difficult to defend. And the semblance of that makes this Niners team very, very elite and unpredictable. And I think the unpredictable nature of this Niners offense is why I believe that this team can compete for the NFC. Why I believe that this team can compete and win the NFC West. So, how do you solve the inconsistencies? It's Garoppolo being better week in, week out, because you know you're going to get solid production from the ground game. And today, it's one of the few times, AU, that we saw Jimmy Garoppolo come back from behind and win a football game. He is so good as a front runner. If he learns how to better play as a passer, coming from behind and trailing, then the sky's the limit for this football team. But here's the deal and why Jimmy Garoppolo is who he is and why he is viewed the way that he is. He's a mediocre quarterback. He's average. So, he's going to have great weeks. He's going to have bad weeks. And you never know what Jimmy G you're going to get. But if you get the Jimmy G from today, who makes a couple of really nice throws on some timely downs, who today I thought did a better job of recognizing the blitz as compared to that KC game, then this team can win the Super Bowl. Because their defense, when they're playing up to par, is extremely, extremely dangerous as well. Excited to hear from Rick Torres because Rick Torres always keeps it a buck, and I hope he does it with this call right here.
Hey, Chase, how's it going?
Great, man. How are you?
Loving it. This
awesome.
game.
Me too.
If you were to look for one player, right, to be the most perfect player for the 49ers, it's CMC.
Yep.
This guy is not only a great weapon, but he fits the 49ers and what they need. And I got to tell you, Dwelly made a great catch.
That was a great catch.
Aiyuk came up big. Can you imagine if you had Jennings and Deebo playing, and then not to mention if we get a healthy stable of running backs back in order, can you imagine what this offensive team could be?
Yeah.
And one more thing, F the Hollywood Lambs.
I love it, man. And with you saying that, F the Hollywood Lambs, beat LA, beat LA, beat LA. Honestly, I just don't think the Rams are that great of a football team this year, and I think they're having a little bit of a Super Bowl hangover, but that offensive line is bad and atrocious, and their protection is bad through the air, but they're the worst ground attack in the NFL, in my opinion, and the numbers back that up because they're 31st out of 32 teams in multiple categories. But CMC is the ultimate weapon, and when a guy like Elijah Mitchell comes back, what does it give this offense? Like what I said when they traded for McCaffrey with Deebo. You go split back with Deebo, McCaffrey. You go split back with Elijah Mitchell, Christian McCaffrey in the pass game. Both. One goes out for a wheel route. How do you defend that? Again, that's why I went back to the original point from AU. How does this offense become more consistent? Jimmy G just has to play average to above average football. A few more callers left to get to. Nathaniel Michael L.A. You're the last callers on the Niners Report. What's up, Nathaniel?
Hey, what's up, Chase?
What's good, brother?
If we keep playing like how we did today, will we see a 6 Lombardi in our future?
Trace, did you hear him? What did he say?
He said, if we keep playing the way that we are, do you see a 6th Lombardi coming to the Bay?
That's really the big question, Nathaniel, and thank you for your call. And let's just break it down to this. You look at the macro perspective, the micro perspective, whatever. It honestly comes down to this. If Jimmy Garoppolo, and I've said this the last few weeks, if Jimmy Garoppolo plays average to above average football, this team can win a 6th Lombardi trophy. Quarterback is really the only weakness on this football team. And when you go up against the likes of Patrick Mahomes or a Josh Allen or an Eagles offense that has it humming on all cylinders right now, you might have to go back and forth in a shootout game. And can Jimmy Garoppolo come from behind, or can he stick with you in a shootout? That's a big looming question. And today, if Garoppolo plays like he did today all the time, and he's now 8-0 in the regular season against the Los Angeles Rams, like this is a team that can really go far. All right, 2 more callers left to get to, Michael and then LA. Michael, what's good? And then LA, you're on deck.
I'm actually happy we got the win today.
What's good, dog? How you doing?
Good.
What do you got for me, brother?
We got the win. We did not play so bad today.
What did he say?
I said we didn't play so bad today.
I got you, Michael. Look, I thought the Niners actually played like solid football. They went down in the first half. They went down early in this game, and they had to come back. Like, I thought San Francisco, this is a game that you wanted to see them win, Michael.
Yeah, I did.
This is a game in which they were trailing. They faced adversity. Things weren't going their way. And, yes, like the Niner faithful showed up and showed out at Levi Stadium. I wanted to see them come back to win a big football game, which was a must-win football game, in my opinion, to get their season back on track. And now going into the bye week, they had that good juju flowing. We're going to round out with LA. LA, you're our last caller on our post-game show. What's good, LA? LA, you there? I'm not hearing you, LA. LA, appreciate the call, man. We try to get to you. Sorry that we were not able to. That will do it for our post-game show on Callin. We will continue to stay live here on YouTube, so make sure you kick it with us there. Thanks, everybody, for supporting us on Callin and during our watch party. You're all the best. San Francisco with another huge dub.